We are now live. Hello, Veronica and Ernie. Thanks for coming on. It's been a long time since I've talked to you guys. But no, for real, like I'm extremely excited for today. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the property management business, rentals, and I'm sure we'll hit a bit of the market, just what's going on with the market, because with the real estate market, you've also got obviously property management and rentals, and that whole mix, because of the fact we have, how many properties do we have now? 260, 270? So we have over 250 properties that we manage at Trillion Property Management, and Ernie and Veronica are my all-star team that really helps to make everything happen on the property management side. And so it's going to be fun to dig in a little deeper with them and just talk a little bit about our property management business, rentals, and just what's really going on with the whole rental market and how it really correlates with the whole real estate market as a whole. And Veronica, she's been with me how long? 5
years.
5 amazing years. And I think that when you first got started, do you remember how many properties we had?
I think it was like 60 or 70, because our goal was 100 when Dev started working with us too. So we were trying to hit 100. So I know we were probably like 75, I think, maybe.
Dang. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, yeah, you've been 5 years, so that means in the last 4 or 5 years, we have grown by almost a couple hundred properties, which I think is pretty amazing, considering we really don't do a whole lot of marketing of our property management business. And so to be over, yeah, I guess it is almost 200 additional properties in that amount of time. Yeah, Ryan's here, guys.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey guys, I'm here for the live Tuesday.
Right on time, Ryan? Of all time.
I didn't get my e-bite for Zoom, so I'll be on the next one on the full screen. So.
Yeah, special guest Ryan.
Ernie, I'll see you later, buddy. You guys are doing good work.
All right, thanks, Ryan. But yeah, so it's pretty crazy that we've gone up almost 200 properties. By the way, guys, that was Ryan, our trusted attorney. If you guys need anyone who is, what type of attorney is he? Injury, loss, car accident, stuff like that. He's the man. So Ryan's the guy. If you guys need an attorney, if you've been in an accident or something or have any questions, let us know. We'll get you connected with him. He's a great guy. But yeah, so we've gone up a couple hundred properties. Veronica has been here, I wouldn't say since the beginning, but definitely a long time. We've grown a lot in terms of the processes and systems and everything that we do with the property management business. And Veronica has been a huge part in just really having really great communication with our clients and being able to grow the business the way we have. And one of the many strengths that Veronica has is she's just really great with communication and on top of her stuff. So whenever we have an application come in or maintenance requests or any sort of issues at the properties, Veronica is the one dealing with a lot of those items. And so Veronica, why don't you just give us, I don't want to be the one talking this whole time, give us a little bit, who are you?
My name's Veronica. Yeah, so I am a cat mom. I work full time.
Another interesting thing, Veronica.
Tell us where she lives.
Started here with us for 2-3 years, and then you moved to where is that? I can't remember.
So we had first moved to Indianapolis. So we were in Carmel, Indiana. We were there for almost 3 years. And then we moved right outside of Detroit, Michigan. So we've been in Michigan for a little bit of time now. I absolutely love it. I mean, do I miss the California weather? Of course. But it's nice to be by lakes. I'm fried. I hope I'm not too pink on video, but we went sailing this weekend. It was great.
That's
So,
awesome.
yep.
And that's another cool thing is the fact that obviously as the property management side of the business has grown, there's so many tasks that can be done remotely, and Veronica does an amazing job really taking care of many parts of our property management business, and she's a wealth of information. Guys, so anyone joining us on this live, please feel free. We want this to be more of an interaction. If you guys have questions about our property management business, tenant laws, as much as I know, I'd be willing to obviously help you guys understand our business, or just what's going on in the rental market, which we're going to dive into a little deeper once we do our quick intros. But definitely feel free to shoot any messages. Dominic's on. Gloria, thanks for jumping on, guys. We definitely appreciate your support and love. We appreciate everyone who joins us on these lives. We really do want to provide value, and therefore, if you guys have questions or anything, please put a comment. Let us know what the question is, and we'd be glad to answer them. We have a couple pros on today that know a lot of the ins and outs of property management. So cool. Yeah, Veronica works remotely. Ernie, let's get into Ernie. Ernie's been helping with the property management, I'd say, has it been 2 years? 2 years?
Probably since 2018, all of 2018, all of 2019, 2.5.
So a couple, yeah, more than, okay, I'm on. I'm usually way off with my time frames, but that's pretty good. And Ernie also, so he licensed, he helps with some of our tenants that turn into buyers that essentially want to buy. We encourage all of our tenants to really figure out, and we love to really just figure out those game plans, but we want our tenants to become homeowners. Homeownership is obviously an extremely important part of just really progressing and building wealth. And so we encourage all of our tenants to turn into buyers and do those things to prepare themselves to purchase. So Ernie's licensed. He's here locally. He's actually just right next door in the next office. But just to make this look better, we did it in our separate suites. But yeah, Ernie takes care of a lot of the, I would say, the side when it comes to sending out checks. The system that we use, which is Appfolio, which I believe to be one of the most cutting edge rental softwares, if you want to call it that. And so he's really the brains behind everything that's happening on the back end between the accounting and really everything, or a lot of things, I guess, on the property management side. And he's been a huge asset to Trillion Property Management. What else am I missing here, Ernie?
Nothing. You said it all. I mean, essentially, yeah, I take care of most of the accounting, making sure rents are paid, whatever we need to do on Appfolio. So figuring stuff out on there. It is a pretty big software. It helps us a lot, but it's definitely a lot to learn. So over the years, I've really tried to learn as much as I can with that. But essentially, yeah, I'm here to help out Veronica. She's the awesome one with all this.
Not true.
I'm here to do whatever she needs me to do.
You're doing all the appointments because I'm not there.
Hats off to Veronica.
Yeah.
No, but props to Veronica. You do a ton. Ernie, obviously, you do a lot too. I feel like property management, guys, is no joke. I do have a number of agents that approach me and ask me, like, how did I get property management going? And I'll just share really quick that story. Is basically, I focus on real estate, and I feel like I always have, but at one point or another, during the last REO foreclosure boom, I was helping almost all buyers at that time. I didn't have any foreclosure accounts, and so I transitioned to really just helping lots of buyers. And I worked actually with Dan Moore at Oak Tree. Some of you may remember. He had a lot of REOs and foreclosures, and I joined. I think I was the first one to join as a buyer's agent on their team, or within that brokerage. And during that time, I was just helping a lot of buyers, and some of those buyers were looking to just buy properties to rent out. And so obviously in the process of just building a relationship with those clients, some of them wanted to have me help them with their properties and rent them out and manage them. And at the time, I was just like, sure, why not? It can't be that difficult, right? Which I think a number of agents probably have that same mentality. Is like, hey, yeah, I can do it, and you maybe manage a few properties. But one after another, it just continued to grow to where that 3 properties turned into 6 to 12 to 15 to 20 to, before you knew it, I was at around 50. And then that's when Veronica came into play. And I just kept going with it. I will say it is time consuming, especially when I was doing it by myself, because there's so many pieces to the process, that I was really juggling a lot and doing a lot of things manually, that we, fortunately enough, now we have awesome softwares to do a lot of that manual labor. There would be a full day of me just putting together statements by hand. I mean, on the computer, but modifying each and every one and sending them out to my clients. Of course, now we do that at a click of a button, right, Ernie?
Right.
But back then I had to send out payments and everything totally manually. So things have evolved. We've grown with it slowly and made adjustments to where Veronica takes care of certain duties and Ernie takes care of certain duties. And then they even have support. We also have Tony, who's actually in the Philippines, our virtual assistant that helps with a lot of the rental calls, emails, and various inquiries that we get on our properties. And then we also have Manny, who is the one that's handling a lot of the move-in inspections, move-out inspections, and assisting in a number of other duties. And then we also, of course, we can't forget Devaney. She's our marketing queen, and she takes care of helping with some of the marketing and the amazing social media you guys see. You can accredit that to Devaney, who does a great job there. But it's crazy. Over the weekend, I went golfing with a buddy, Donovan. I don't think I even told Veronica or Ernie, and he was with me. I think he was the first agent to work with me when I was a broker, and he was telling me how he remembers how I would spend a whole day working on property management thing, because I would have to go through statements and send out monies and everything like that. And I'm just thinking, wow, how far have we come in the last 5, 6, 7 years with the property management business? It's obviously a lot different. So anyway, but that's just a little bit about our business. Cool. We have who else is on? Oh, Gabby. Gabby's so cool. Gabby's on. She said hi. Hey, Gabby. And then we have Janice that jumped on. Good to see you guys. Actually, yeah. Wow, Gabby is. I think Gabby's been with us for a good amount of time. But anyway, moving on. Let's jump into some of the nitty gritty. In terms of just about the property management business. How is the market right now on the rental side? What do you guys think? How has it been, Veronica? I don't want to be the one talking the whole time, guys. Come on, help me out.
The market is crazy right now. It's very, very competitive. Obviously, summer is the busy season anyway, but we're getting multiple blind apps on basically every property that we list. So if you have clients that are interested in one of our rentals, definitely make sure you're moving quick, because they're going just as fast as us listing them. So definitely make sure they're qualified and on top of, getting their stuff in.
Love it. Hey, Veronica, yeah, you brought up a good point. What are some of those tips? Because you do take care of the application process. I do have agents reach out to me all the time asking me, just various questions about how they can help their clients, whether they have credit issues or income issues or whatever. What are your recommendations to agents who have clients or friends that are trying to get into a rental in a crazy hot rental market?
Totally. So again, it's very, very competitive. I mean, we're getting applications that have been coming in where they have 745 credit scores. So they could be purchasing a house right now and instead they're, opting to rent. So there's very, very strong applications in. So if maybe your client has a little lower credit, make sure they're getting their application in pretty quickly, because it is, as soon as that full package comes in and all the documents are in, I'm able to get a quick rental verification. As soon as they're done, they're getting sent over to the owner. So really, it's really first come, first serve. So if the second application takes, a few days to get something back, your application is still first. So make sure they're submitting the supporting documents. Make sure each adult is applying. I know we keep getting some applications that are coming in where their spouse hasn't applied yet, and then that sets them back because now there's someone else that already applied. I already have all their documents, so they kind of, squeezed in front there.
Okay, love it. Yeah, so great points. So basically what I heard you say is submit a complete application. Each adult needs to submit an application, and that means all supporting documents. Guys, if you see a rental property that we get or anybody else, make sure you submit the application and you go through it thoroughly. Make sure you have whatever requirements they have, whether it be income statements, IDs, and just completing the application. It's important to have all of that information up front right away. It's kind of like when we submit an offer on a property, we want that offer to look as good as possible, right? So when someone's submitting an application, the more complete it is with the supporting documents, that's going to help you get an approval much quicker and allow us to be able to submit it to the owners for the final approval. And each company has a slightly different process, but that's the way we work it. If there is any sort of issues with credit or anything, I also encourage you to have your clients put together an email or a document that just has an explanation in terms of why their credit is bad or why they have certain issues. The more we know, and the easier we're able to relay that to the owners, which is very important to getting your clients approved for a rental. Any other tips that you guys can think of? Ernie, can you think of any other tips when someone has a property that they're interested in?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you guys said, for sure, the speed I think is the biggest thing. People, a lot of times now we're seeing it's very normal to submit applications even before they've even seen the property, which normally I wouldn't recommend, but with how competitive it is, you do see it's almost normal now to, get applications same day we list the property and get something approved here pretty quickly before they've even seen it. Another thing I would suggest, kind of similar to on the real estate side, when you're submitting an offer on purchasing a property, you want to submit a clean offer just to beat out all the other potential offers that are there. I think it could be similar with rentals as well. Of course, you're not submitting a formal offer or anything like that, but if you're looking at a property and you're interested in it, but you have a lot of contingencies or stipulations, things that you want addressed, there might be people in line with you or before you that like the property as is, and of course an owner is going to take somebody that wants to move in as is, likes the property for what it is, over some applications that probably are asking for certain things to be done. So yeah, that's just something I could add to that.
Perfect. And one other quick thing I'll mention is, of course, make sure you educate your clients that sometimes a property will hit and we'll get blind applications. And what that means is that we have applications coming in before anyone could even see the property. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's best to submit a blind application if you're fairly confident that you like the area, you like what you see in the photos, because we are limited to showing depending on if the property is occupied by the owners or the tenants. And sometimes our showings are limited to sometimes even once a week or twice a week or less than that. So you have to be very in a market like this where it's just really a hot rental market, you need to make sure you educate your clients to be quick and just keep in mind that if they want an advantage over other people, they need to submit an application potentially blind before a bunch of other applications start coming in. Awesome. Those were great tips, guys, and I'm glad you guys were touching on that, Veronica. Something else when it comes to rental market that I've been coming across, and I've actually been getting some questions on, is what's going on with COVID, the coronavirus, and what are we doing, and what can we or can't we do when it comes to rental properties? Uh-oh, Veronica, did you try to say something?
Sorry, technical difficulties over here. I missed what you said in regards to COVID.
Oh, yeah. So with COVID and everything going on, one of the things that's come up with me the last few days, I don't know if it's something you guys have come across, is I've had agents asking like, hey, can we enforce or have our clients move out, even though COVID, there's a number of restrictions here in the state of California. I guess I'll talk really quick about that. And of course, you guys keep in mind, this is my opinion and the way I understand it, but of course, get verification from an attorney if you really want to get the, make sure it's 100% correct. But essentially my understanding of it is we're still under certain restrictions that do not allow us to enforce someone to be out with a 30-day or 60-day notice. So basically what that means is if there's a tenant in your property month to month, and if they know and understand the law and understand what's going on with COVID, even if they're on a month to month, we cannot give them a 30 or 60-day notice and enforce it unless they agree to go ahead and just vacate the property. And at some point, we believe sometime either this month or next month, we will be able to. But of course, up until that point, we can't. So we're somewhat limited, or tenants have the right to continue to stay and occupy a property. Have you guys had that question come up, or is it just me?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to mention, just because even yesterday I had an agent, or I think two agents, asking me about it. And of course, I had to go to our legal team to make sure that that was correct. So I believe I understand it correctly. Most of our tenants actually have just been agreeable to move out, but there have been a couple that have wanted to just stay in their home up until that this restriction is lifted. And then at that point, we'll have to give a 30 or 60-day notice at that point and be able to enforce it at that time. Anything else with regards to the market that you guys can think of in coronavirus, COVID, how it's been affecting the real estate? Oh, I guess
Showings.
Another one, well, showings, we definitely have to do showings differently, kind of like on the real estate side. What else is a bit different with COVID, coronavirus going on? Dang, I can't think of anything else, Veronica.
Well, safety inspections are really difficult to do right now too. So especially if
True.
you're a landlord, just keep in mind, unfortunately, you're not able to post those 24-hour notice to enter. So unless they're willing to work with you in regards to getting something scheduled, you're really just gonna have to wait until we can post notices.
Exactly. Good one. I didn't think of that one. Another one, this should be like one of the most important ones, or one of the big ones that I found extremely intriguing, is that a lot of the media made it seem like with COVID and everything that the market was going to get destroyed, like things were going to be crazy. But I think what we found out is that most tenants continued to pay rent on time, and it was a very small percentage that had difficulties in continuing to pay their rent. Who wants to chime in on that one? Ernie, I think you know a little bit more about the specifics with regards to how many people were, paid a bit late and ended up, it seems like they've all made arrangements. But can you chime in on that a little?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, I think a lot of people had the idea that because of the virus that everything was going to kind of get stopped, or values were going to go down, prices were going to go down, people weren't going to be able to pay rent. But yeah, kind of like what you said, we maybe 1, 2, 3 people we've experienced weren't able to pay rent. Prices, I don't think, have been affected much. And yeah, even up to now, I think we have maybe 3 people that were waiting on to pay rent, and out of those 3, we probably received 2 of them late, and maybe 1 is the one that we're working on. So not a whole lot affected price-wise when it comes to COVID and the rental market, not from what we've experienced at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the market's strong. Properties are still getting rented super quick. Owners that are deciding to rent out their property, I think we're getting them, applications accepted within 7 to 10 days. And yeah, I don't see a slowdown in the market at all.
Dang. And that's crazy, because I think when all of this went down initially, I think we were all on, pins and needles thinking like, shoot, is 50% of our tenants not going to pay rent or something?
Right.
And I'm sure each market is a little different, and maybe even between each and every different property management company. But I feel like that's a huge win to know that that's like less than 1%, that's like right around 1%, 1, 2, 3%, somewhere in there in terms of who paid late and they still made arrangements to make the payments and stuff. I think the media, for the most part, always portrays doom and gloom, but the reality of our market here in the Temecula Valley, it's strong. It's still strong, and that's evident of the real estate market and how busy the real estate market is. We have, I believe, 15 listings, and 12 or 13 of those are in contract, and most of those went within a matter of a week or 2 weeks. And then on the rental side, I think we've rented, how many have we rented in the past month? Do you know?
I don't, not off the top, but man, it's gotta be.
But it seems like at least 5 to 10 properties we've rented, and most of those have rented within a matter of, like you said, I think our turnover time is 8 days or somewhere around there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that goes to show real estate market as a whole, whether you're talking real estate, rentals, either side, like it's strong. It's a strong market. So things are really looking good in Temecula Valley, and of course, each market is a little different, price points, all that stuff. But what we're seeing here in Temecula Valley is our things are looking really good. Yeah, so that's that. What else? Let's see. Are there any questions here? Allison jumped on, it looks like. Janice, what's up, Janice? Dang, I'm shocked that no one has questions, because throughout the week I feel like I get a lot of questions. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about? We have just a couple more minutes here. Any other experiences or any crazy things that you'd like to share just that happens on the property management side and with the rentals?
Veronica.
As everyone knows, property management is not easy. You definitely, I would say most owners and most tenants are amazing. We love all of them. But let's be real. There's definitely some people and some tenants that can be a bit unrealistic, or we have crazy experiences occur. Do you want to share any of those? Share anything with regards to the rental side, property management?
Of course, on the spot, I can never think of any good stories. I'm like, what stories? We don't have any right now.
Right.
I'll just say, okay. Yeah.
Go.
Oh no, I've been talking.
I don't have a story, but I was just gonna say, I think the relationship that you have with your clients, whether it's an owner, whether it's a renter, I think matters a lot. I think that's helped us and allowed us to be able to navigate a lot of the difficulties and challenges that have come up. So although we do probably have some random stories that we've had with tenants and properties, I think the fact that we do strive to have good relationships with owners and tenants allows us to kind of avoid some of the hurdles that I'm sure you hear about from other people and their experiences with renters and tenants and owners. So I'm going to try to keep it positive and just leave it at that. But you guys feel free to share any stories you can remember.
No, you know what? That's so true, though. I think if that's a good way to sum this up is really relationships are so important. And I would imagine that has something to do with the fact that we have such a high percentage, almost all, of our tenants paying rent through these, even through COVID and so forth. And of course, we have our issues here and there that we deal with, and we do our very best to deal with them, but we definitely strive to have great relationships with our owners, with our tenants, with the agents representing them, with everyone. It's so important to always strive to have some of the best relationships because it makes things easier in the long run. And so I think you bring up a good point and how important it really is just within all of our businesses, whether you work in real estate or anything else. Relationships are important, and having those positive, good relationships in the long run are going to benefit you and allow you to run a more effective, efficient business because people like to work with people they like, number one, and number two, if, like, for example, with our business, of course, tenants are going to be more willing to accommodate the owners and owners accommodate the tenants when everyone's working together and we all have the same purpose in terms of, or same goal in mind in terms of just trying to make it as the most positive and best experience for everyone involved. And I think that's like business 101, right? Like, make sure you strive to have great relationships with everyone. We make mistakes. We have made mistakes. We will continue to make mistakes, but we learn from them and we do better and we figure out ways to do better. And I think that's evident of how our business, the property management side of the business, has grown from 50 to over 250 properties in the last 4 or 5 years is because of those relationships. So I'm glad you brought that up, Ernie. That's a good way to close this this live out without bringing up any of the crazy stories that we experience almost on a weekly basis. Because we really do strive to have great relationships with everyone, and we always will, and we always are going to try to do better. So anyway, guys, we need to wrap it up. We're already 3 minutes past. Let me see if there's any. Oh, Jasmine, who is that? Looks like she has a question. Woo. Oh, and I saw, who is that? Manny. Check him out. So let's see, Jasmine, how involved should the agent be in representing the tenant? How involved should the agent representing the tenant? That's really up to them. They don't need to, or who wants to answer? I've talked too much. You guys answer that question. How involved should the agent be that's representing a tenant?
Sometimes it really is up to the agent, I would say. Sometimes it's a little difficult because if they're missing documents and I've been communicating with the applicant most of the time, it's hard to know, hey, are they working with an agent? I've been having communication with the applicant themselves. So am I going to go out of my way to contact the agent in regards to any news? But if an agent reaches out to me and is like, hey, how's everything looking for my client? Blah, blah, blah. Then it's easy for me to just respond to her. Hey, I'm missing these documents. Hey, the owner got back and they're approved. Because I know a lot of agents do want to give their client the good news rather than it come from us.
Love it. Good answer. Anything you want to add to that, Ernie?
No, I think Veronica's got it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be different depending on which management company you're working through. But essentially, I think, like she said, hand them over as prepared as they can be. Maybe if they need help filling out the application online, help them through that. But essentially, once the application's in, I think that the management company is probably going to be the one in control. of all that. If you do want to be involved delivering the news, and I think just make that known up front.
Totally. Yeah. So it's really, answer is it's up to you. If the agent wants to be involved, feel free to be involved. If not, pass it on over to us and we'll take care of them. So, and just let us know, let Veronica know. She deals a lot with the applications. Other question in here was Gloria was asking what areas we cover. Guys, we cover Temecula Valley, which is essentially Temecula. We keep it pretty tight in terms of boundaries. So we're in Temecula, Murrieta, Winchester, Menifee, most of Lake Elsinore, or part of Lake Elsinore, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Winchester, Menifee, Temecula, Murrieta, Wildomar, Menifee. That's what we cover. We try to keep it all pretty tight and not go too far beyond that, just so we could be as effective and efficient with the properties that we have. So yeah, I guess that answers that question. And then Gloria also had a question. Can you share your thoughts on rentals that are listed for sale and disclose buyers are responsible for removing tenants? I've had a couple of first-time buyers interested, but I think it can be a major challenge down the road. Yeah, I can see that being a concern. We have one property in particular that we have listed right now on Old Spring, which is a great property. We have a tenant in there. Our clients want to sell it. I don't think it's that difficult, but then again, I understand the property management world and the rental world. And I understand that as soon as we're able to give a 60-day notice, we can give that 60-day notice and they'll be out of the property. Meaning, let's say it's lifted in 3 weeks. At that point, we give a 60-day notice and essentially your buyer could occupy that property 60 days from that time. And I'm fairly confident, especially with our tenants, most of our tenants are amazing, that they'll accommodate and of course, they'll abide by that 60-day notice. So for me, I wouldn't be too concerned. That would not always be the case. I guess it depends on whose property it is, who's been managing it. For me, I feel comfortable because I know the tenants and I know that they've been accommodating and I know that they've been great tenants. But I think that's going to be case by case in terms of how comfortable I'm going to be. I think you would just need to have that conversation with the agent and just make sure that they're great tenants, that they are going to move out when they're supposed to move out. Anything else you wanted to add to that one, guys? I guess not.
No, I think you're good. Get it in writing if you can, I would say.
Yeah, definitely we would want to have it in writing and so forth. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Gloria. I wouldn't be too concerned, but make sure you do your homework, your due diligence. And then we have Jimmy on. He hit me up with a rental property. He's looking for a rental. Gotcha. All right, man. You don't have to do so many comments. Jeez. But yeah, you know where to find us, Jimmy. You know I think you've got all our numbers, so I think you're covered. Okay, anyway, let's wrap it up, guys. We're already 9 minutes over. Just wrapping this up. Veronica, Ernie, amazing. They run obviously Trillium Property Management. They do a great job. And that's why we've been able to grow so much. And I appreciate you guys a lot. Thanks for coming on and sharing some of your knowledge with us. If anyone watching this has any questions in the property management world, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to try to answer any of your questions. We're here to help. And if we can help in any way, even if you don't need our services, we're here to definitely do our very best to serve anyone and everyone. And again, thanks for tuning in. Till next week, Veronica, Ernie, you guys did a great job. Are you guys happy it's over?
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, cool. See you guys. Veronica, Ernie, and our audience, have a great one. We appreciate you tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See ya.